Beginning of the year, people have got pin-up energy, golf courses are open, I've got club repairs to do. Welcome back to my golf shop. Jim McCleary, most awarded certified club maker, club fitter. If you would, swing, subscribe, and hit that bell down below, and that way you get more of these videos when they drop. If you would, how about, and you want to see more of what's going on in the golf shop, subscribe to the social platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. That way you get to see what's going on. Alrighty, so golf course is opened. I got stuff to do. I've got a graphite shaft golf repair. I've got a broken inside the hosel golf repair, and I got a steel shaft just broken barely outside the hosel repair. So 3 different kinds of repairs to do, 3 different kinds of shaft removals to do, okay? And so what we're going to do is I'm going to move you over to the bench, and because it just doesn't work when I try to work up in here like that. You need to see it down low and so I can actually do it correctly. So give me a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to tackle probably the hardest one of the clan, and that's the broken inside the hosel. Now I've started heating it up a little bit in order to get to the ferrule. Now why do I do it like that? Because in the Callaway one, these are some pretty tough ferrules. They just don't melt like the rest of them do. So I've got to get it nice and hot. And then you got to kind of attack it right away, otherwise it just gets real hard. Now the trick here is not to go and get into the adapter, otherwise you scratch it. Sometimes it just is not going to work for you. And so we're going to give it another shot here. And she's just telling me that the shaft is right there. So I'm going to pull up, I got a big old chunk of it right here. No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this down a little bit so I can get the drill to it. So now what you see is I've drilled it down, or I've sanded it down a little bit so that way I can get a good surface to sand it. So now what we really want to do is we want to get it so that the shaft will let go. How do we make that go? Well, you got to get the adapter warm. Again, just like we do in a normal replacement, you don't need a whole lot of heat. We just want it to get warm because as you drill this out, it's going to create some heat too. So about a minute's worth of heating and about a 15/16, and we should be good to go. As you notice, not everything came off, but it's going to make it easier to get this ferrule alpha here now. There we go. Now we can really see what we're doing. And it doesn't hurt when you have a really big light in here either. Alright, so we still have a little bit of that shaft left over in there, and that's when we can get it from the inside now. We don't want to start a big monster fire, we just want to loosen it up a little bit more. And then give it a little bit more heat on the outsides, trying to entice it to let go. And then we'll hit it with the drill one more time. Now before we start getting to the actual adapter itself, we're going to want to try and just remove that part of it. There we go. And you can see there's a whole lot of silver in there, which is what we're looking for. But now if you look down in here where the shoulder's at, that's where it's still at. And there's a different way to get to that one. Now what we do here is we run the heat to the inside. You see how it's lightening up a little bit? We'll run some on the inside because we really want this thing clean. I drill my brush. Now there's the glue that we're getting out. Notice how I got way more shiny on the inside? That's telling us we are very, very clean. I'm going to give it one more shot. We're going to keep doing that until that thing stops giving me as long as it keeps giving me that, we're going to keep doing it. See, it's getting smaller and smaller. There we go. Now you can see down into it. We've gotten it. All right, now as part of the cleanup, you can see it's kind of been hit on the top. We're going to clean up with the Glanz Wetch, and we're going to clean this part up on the unstitched buffing wheel. So give me just a minute and we'll come back and I'll show you that. So a few seconds on the wavy wheel, and you're seeing the inside looks really good. The outside looks like it did when it first was new. I got rid of a few sky marks for him, and the top looks pretty good. Now it's ready for the new shaft. All right, the next one is a little simpler, and what we have to do here is, and it's going to be a little bit more, how should I say, barbaric, in the fact that we're going to go after the ferrule again. And this time I'm going to go down into the hose a little bit, because I want it to start warming up. Alright, you guys seen me use the knife trick, but this one's in reverse, because all I want is it out. We're not worried about saving a shaft. We just want this thing gone. And there it is. Pretty much out of there. Okay, so this one, it's too small to grab with the shaft puller, so we're just going to try and give it a bit of a squeeze and see if we can't get it to twist. Now this is going to get ugly, but what it does is it lets go somewhere in the hosel. And you see how it's turning and the head's turning, but I'm not. And it's starting to pop out. I'm trying to pull it out, but it just doesn't want to go. There we go. And now I got all the shaft. And now all we have to do is clean the inside of that guy out. Okay, we see the inside is very clean, and you can see the hosel plug at the bottom, which tells us we've got to the bottom. And again, we're going to hit it with the Glanz Wetch wheel, and we're going to shine this back up, getting ready for the new shaft. Okay, again, just a few seconds on the Glanz Wetch wheel, and we got our hosel looking area looking good. And the top is clean as much as it can be, and we got to go, and it's good on the inside. And you see how it's got a shoulder, so we know we need a shouldered ferrule for that one. So that's when you take them apart, it gives you an idea of what it is that you need. Now on to the last one. The last one's going to be similar to the graphite one, in that you can get it hot and try and twist it out. We're going to see if it's going to cooperate today. Why do I take the ferrule off? Because the ferrule, if a club maker has glued it, is typically glued onto the ferrule or onto the shaft, and it can act as an anchor. And you see that right there? That's what it would have anchored to. Alright, so now what we've got to do is we've got to get all this hot again, and we're going to go a little hotter this time because, one, it's steel onto steel, and I want to see this epoxy go away, or bubble up a little bit. It's giving off that little bit of that smoke. That's telling me we're close enough. Now let's see if we can't make this work for us too. Oh, we did. Good for us. Okay, we're just down to that. Now, if this wouldn't have worked that way, you couldn't grab it with the pliers, you could always just squeeze it into a vise and then turn the head. You saw me working the head around because what you want to do is you just going back in and forth, or just shoving it in there and letting it turn around only gets one spot. So that's what you're really looking for, is to try and get the whole thing clean on the inside. Now you'll see we got a little bit of discoloration here, and that's, again, we're going to go and just wipe. It basically just wipes off. But we're going to clean it again just like we did all the rest of them, because we want them looking better than when they came in. So there you are. That's what it looks like. All nice and cleaned up, and they're all ready for a new shaft. 3 different kinds of shaft repairs. They're very similar in their withdrawal, but now if for some reason, say the graphite shaft decided to break off on the outside, you just cut it off at the top, drill it out, and most likely the shaft would come with you. The other one is in the steel shaft, if it wouldn't have grabbed with the pliers, you can put it into a vise or something that will grab it better than just a small pair of pliers. Maybe a set of channel locks or something like that. And then the idea is to break it loose and then pull it out. And those are just some simple things. Now the last part is the conditioning of the club prior to assembly. That's where the wavy wheel and the Glanzwatch comes into play. All right, I haven't got to it yet, but I'm getting real close. I bought this from Grizzly, the Menzerna, right there. This is what I'm going to use next. I'm guessing that bar is going to last me my entire career. I had a half a bar of that, and it lasted me almost 10. So I will probably have quite a bit left. So if you find yourself out of your depth in this particular issue, just give us a call, clubmaker@mcgolf.net or mcgolfshop@roadrunner.com. And we can, you can send them to us and we can do them for you. If you guys have any questions on it, put it in the show notes below. And as always, let's see your scores go low.